Alright, so we'll be looking at these a few more questions in Algebra 2 review. Alright, so we have tangent and sine and cotangent, both in the measure of radian measures. So let us try to look into one at a time. What is pi over 3? In fact, one way for us to convert the radian into the degrees so that we can have better sense, it would have been simply this way. We know that the radian over degrees, that ratio will be equal to pi over 180. So having that ratio, we can convert pi over 3 over degrees. We have no idea, so we're going to call that as x is equal to pi over 180. Then you will realize that by cross multiplying, we have 60 pi will be equal to x pi. So we realize that x must be equal to 60 degrees. So then this is equal to tangent of 60 degrees. Now, we know that tangent of 60 degrees is radical 3, so there it goes. Now, second, sine of 4 pi over 3. If you follow the same procedure, we will realize that sine of 4 pi over 3 will be equal to sine of 240 degrees. Now, but since 240 degrees is on the third quadrant, we realize that this has to be negative sine. But the reference angle here will be equal to 60 degrees. So that will be equal to negative sine of 60. That means it's got to be negative first. What is sine of 60? That's right. That is equal to radical 3 over 2. So that becomes our final answer. Now, cotangent. One way for us to look at it is this. That's equal to 1 over tangent of pi over 4. Now, what is pi over 4? That's right. That's equal to 45 degrees. So we end up getting 1 over tangent of 45 degrees. Now, tangent of 45 degrees, in fact, is equal to 1. So we end up getting 1 over 1, which is equal to 1. All right, next question. Here we have to use the radian measure of the angle. So we have to use the calculator. Let us try to look at this one together. So, first set up the mode into the radian. Now, let's look into this one. In order for us to find the angle, what we need to do is secant cosine and plug in the values. 0.9389. Then as we can see, this will be our first value. And to find to the nearest 10,000th, the 10,000th, that means we are looking at right over here. But rounding it up, so we end up getting theta is equal to 0.3514. Likewise, let's look into the second one. Cotangent here, in fact, would have been something like this. That's equal to 1 over tangent theta will be equal to 1.5277. In other words, if you get the reciprocal on each side, you end up getting tangent theta must be equal to 1 over 1.5277. And we'll use this one because our calculator accepts the tangent functions, not the cotangent functions. So our second one will be secant tangent of 1 over 1.5277. Then we'll end up getting this value over here. So once again, the theta would have been equal to 0.5796. Let's look at the last one. This one will be going through the same manner as this one. So in order for us to get this answer, we will get tangent theta will be equal to 1 over 0.1983. Alright, so let us try to put that into our calculator. Secant tangent of 1 over 0.1983. Close up parentheses, and we end up getting that value. So there we have it. Theta is equal to 1.3750 in this case. Alright, let us look into the next question. Find the remaining 5 trigonometric functions. Now, so since this angle is on the first quadrant, we get to realize that all the values will be positive. Now, given that cosine theta is equal to 3 over 4, then in this case, one thing that which we can do is assuming any triangle, what to be here for a second, then if we assume that this is the angle theta, cosine is and then this is a right angle, cosine is the adjacent over hypotenuse. So this is the ratio which we end up getting. And since I do not know the side, why don't we call this side as maybe side A? Then using the Pythagorean theorem, we have a squared plus 3 squared is equal to 4 squared. Then we get to realize the value of A will be equal to square root of 7. Now, knowing that sine theta then is equal to square root of 7 over 4. Cosine we know, so tangent theta becomes opposite over adjacent, which is right equal 7 over 3. Now, that means reciprocal of sine becomes cosecant theta becomes 4 over square root of 7. If you want to rationalize the denominator, we end up getting 4 square root of 7 over 7 by multiplying top and bottom by radical 7. Now, secant theta is a reciprocal of this, so we end up getting simply 4 over 3. And cotangent theta, which is reciprocal of tangent, we end up getting 3 over square root of 7, which will simplify into 3 radical 7 over 7. Alright, next. We need to write down the values on each kind. So here we have cosine of pi over 2. That's equal to cosine of 90 degrees. And cosine of 90 degrees, we realize that to be 0. So that becomes our answer. Cotangent of pi over 2. In fact, that is a reciprocal of tangent. So that's what we end up getting. But tangent of pi over 2 is undefined. But in fact, the reciprocal of undefined, we can assume that to be equal to 0. Now, next. Cosecant here is the reciprocal of sine of 7 pi over 2. Now, well, what is sine of 7 pi over 2? That's, in fact, equal to 1 over sine of, since the pi over 2 is equal to 90 degrees, we have 7 of them, so we end up getting 630 degrees. Now, if you have to look into this one carefully, then this will be equal to 1 over sine of 270 degrees. Now, sine of 270 is in fact is equal to negative 1. So therefore, we end up getting 1 over negative 1, which is equal to negative 1. Cosecant of 9 pi over 2, or rather negative 9 pi over 2, becomes same as before. Sine of negative 9 pi over 2, which will be equal to 1 over sine of negative 810 degrees. Now, by adding 720, which will bring everything onto where it should be, then this becomes 1 over sine of negative 90 degrees, which in fact is exactly the same as sine of 270. Therefore, our answer becomes negative 1. All right, that's it.